Hello. Hello, my name is Devin Olabari, and I am a music and also music plus code instructor here at NAP Family Learning Center, where we teach music, art, and programming. Um, and I'm going to talk about math and music. Specifically, I'm going to continue our series, Music Education, What's the Point? Today's topic is music appreciation can be math appreciation. So not a lot of people know, just how much math is inside music. And some music educators do a better job at bringing it to the fore than others. First we're going to talk about pitch. First we're going to talk about rhythm. Then we're going to talk about pitch. I'm going to just kind of cover those two topics. I'm going to use music blocks to help me explain these concepts. And tomorrow we have a special event, which I hope you go to, which will kind of go more into depth on the same topic, just another one of the benefits of being in the community. So here we go. So what I have behind me is the rhythm to Hot Cross Buns. So if I was just going to, on a single pitch, just say the notes, be hot cross buns, hot cross buns. 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. So if you've ever taken like a beginner music class, maybe a recorder class, you've probably seen something like this. And your music teacher will inevitably start talking about quarter notes, half notes, eighth notes, 16th notes, quarter rests, half rests, eighth rests, etc. And sometimes it's the music teacher who talks about the math in this way, before the kids might even start taking these things in math class. And I'll show you what I mean through music blocks right now. So if I share my screen, I've got music blocks, which is a visual programming language that Walter Benner and myself and others have been working on for a few years now. It's a visual programming language for music, great way to explore mathematical concepts, musical concepts, and their, and where those concepts intersect. So if you look here with the note value, I've got 1 over 4. That's a fraction. It is also a quarter note. So when a music teacher says, play a quarter note, they're talking about, another way to describe what they're talking about is through a fraction. So we got a quarter note, and a half note here. And let me just make these pitches the same as hot cross buns, since that's what I started with. And if I press play, you'll get those notes. So I got quarter note, and a half note. And the half note is 2 times longer than the quarter note. Another way to visualize this is, let's say that we have a loaf of bread. Buy a whole loaf of bread from the store. I've got a whole loaf of bread. I've got 1 over 1, a whole. If I cut it in half, I get 2 halves. And the 2 halves make the whole. I still have a whole loaf of bread. Until I eat one of those halves, I have a whole loaf of bread. If I have one of those halves, then I get 2 quarters. And now I've got the same rhythm that I have over here. So this is a way that you can visualize the quarter notes and half notes. If I have one of these quarter notes, I can get eighth notes. And I can have the half note to get 2 quarters. And then I can have one of these and I can get 16ths. So musicians, music teachers, we talk about quarter notes, half notes, eighth notes, 16th notes, maybe even 32nd notes. They are a musical idea, yes, but having an understanding of math is very helpful to execute these rhythms properly. So a lot of times, you know, music teachers are talking about the mathematics of these notes in order to help students really play their rhythms correctly. So I just wanted to point that out to you. There's so much more in here that I'm not going to get into right now. But that's just the beginning. That's the tip of the iceberg. Again, hot cross buns. First thing we do, we've got quarter notes, we've got eighth notes. This version doesn't have a half note for the third note, but often it's a half note. And like mathematics, there's multiple interpretations. There's multiple ways of thinking about the same thing. So the ethos is very similar. Also, I just want to point out one thing while we're looking at this. A lot of times, the music teacher is the first teacher when you're working with young kids to help kids, to initiate kids into reading graphs. And what do we have here? We've got music notation, or we've got reading a graph. We've got to read left to right. We've got to go to the next part. We've got to read it. We've got to interpret some abstract symbols. So, you know, we're getting kids ready for mathematics. There's a lot of emphasis on STEM. I know, science, technology, engineering, math. We all got to learn that. I totally agree with you. We've got to learn that. But music is an authentic and fun way to, you know, learn those concepts, to be incepted into those worlds. I think there is a reason that Einstein played the violin. Okay. And then a more sophisticated version of this is when we start putting pitch in there. Then we've got a y-axis and an x-axis. We've got pitch over time. Again, I'm a music teacher, but I'm teaching pitch over time. I'm teaching, you know, people linear algebra, you know, so, you know, please keep that in consideration when you're thinking, oh, do I want to, you know, put so-and-so into another math class, or I want to do music? I think a holistic education is really, really a great education for kids. So don't just overemphasize, you know, math, engineering, technology, science, you know, language. That is all in there in music as well. Okay, so let's now look at pitch. Okay, so I'm going back to music blocks. So we talked about fractions and rhythm. There is also fractions in pitch. So there is a block in here called hertz. Hertz, if you can imagine sound like a wave, you get 392 of those waves in a second. And that gives you a pitch. That pitch is G. I'll just tell you that right now. And when you represent pitch like this, well, first of all, you see the math in pitch, but you also have something to kind of play around with. So I can use math. I can take this 392. I can use multiplication on it. So if I do times 2, I get another pitch. I could multiply it by another number. I could use division on it. And here are the results. So again, I'm just playing with how many waves I get in a second, and I'm getting different sounds. So musical concept, mathematical concept. I want to show you a little bit of what you can do with programming. And if you're not familiar with what programming is, it's math, it's language. I'm using, you know, the language of music here. And it's over time. So doing a computation is doing math in a dynamic way. Okay, so I'm going to use an add to. This is a variable. So I'm storing a variable in what I like to call a box, what we like to call a box. I'm going to add to box. So if you imagine I've got one marble in the box, sorry, if I've got one marble in the box and I add a marble to the box every time I repeat this, by the end, I will have 8 marbles. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. So now I'm going to get 392 divided by 1, divide by 2, divide by 3, divide by 4, divide by 5, until I get to 8. Ooh, that sounds interesting. I'm getting new notes. Let's try the multiplication on it. So just real quick, what I showed you is an authentically musical idea. I play a note. I have the string, and I get the octave. I have that half. I get the fifth above that octave. I have that half, and I get this. So actually, I said have a half. So this is 1/2. This is half. This is actually a third. If you look at the whole string, the first point that I did is directly in the middle. This is a third of the way through the string. This is a quarter. This is a fifth. This is a sixth. This is a seventh. And this is an eighth. And all of those notes are inside the original note. And what's exciting for me is there's the fractions in the rhythms, there's the fractions in here, and we're only talking about fractions. There's a lot of other mathematical concepts that I'm not going to get into here. But I do want to talk about one more thing, okay? So music education can be, music appreciation can be math appreciation. You do need a knowledgeable teacher who can really, you know, make that explicit to draw the connections. You know, we're here for you at Map Family Learning Center. We can do that. You know, we're trained to integrate music with the other subjects. We can bring that to the fore. I want to tell you about an upcoming event that we're sponsoring. These folks made a guitar that's a little bit different, that uses these ratios a little bit better, but in a very clever way. So let me show you that. I hope you can come to that. Let me just share my entire screen. So we've got this coming up. I'll put the link in there. Actually, I'll put it in right now. So you can either attend for free, or you can, you know, give a little bit of something if you can. And you can always attend classes. You can reach out to us by going to contact, take lessons with us. We encourage you to do that. We've got music plus code lessons. We've got music lessons. Tell us what you're interested in. Actually pretty amazing. Okay, so that's it for today's topic, music education, what's the point? So thank you for watching. If you're able to come tomorrow, please do. Otherwise, it's going to be recorded so you can watch it later. We encourage you to get a supporter ticket if you can. You can always support after the fact as well. And keep in touch. Okay, thank you so much. Bye.